What up? What up? What up? Panther Nation, Rockstar Gang. How are we? How are we? Wow. Dan Morgan, huh? Dan Morgan, huh? I'll take it. Y'all don't like the DM promotion. Yeah, I mean, I put my resume in there, Marcos. They didn't send me back. I sent them my Madden resume and then I sent them my YouTube channel. I added that in there. I was just trying to see if maybe they would, get back to me on being the next GM there. But you get shit in one hand, get pissed in the other. You know what I mean? Um, Dan Morgan, everyone, ladies and gentlemen, Dan Morgan. How we feeling, guys? Scale of 1 to 10 in the chat. Scale of 1 to 10 in the chat. How are we feeling with this new GM hire? How are we feeling? Sound off in the chat. Scale of 1 to 10. How are we feeling? -0. That's not a number, Jadarius. That's not a number. Thought you were a teacher or something like that. I'm just picking at you. The work day is almost over, and now you're here for your show. Great job, bud. Feel that, man. I feel that. Feel that. Yeah, it's been a long work day, but I was able to get on here. I like it. I'm pissed. Marcos Match Hatter pissed. It has grown on me. It's grown on him. All right. I'm super pissed. The GM just sat there like a piss ant. I don't think he had much that he could say, man. I don't think Dan Morgan had. You're telling me a man who's 6'3", 270 pounds like that. I mean, back then, was a freaking stud here. Super Bowl. He's a Miami Hurricanes legend. Just sat there and took shit. There ain't no way. There ain't no way. There ain't no way. Here's the thing that I have to say about Dan Morgan. And I said it in the Discord this morning. He's a football guy. So he knows his players. I've heard rumors that he was not involved in any of the decision making that has happened since Scott Fitter's been here and since he's been here. I've heard that he's been had no part of it. I've heard even rumors that that he didn't want any of this. He didn't want any of what's been going on here. Didn't want any of the coaching staff. Didn't want any of the players that we've drafted. Like, I've heard rumors that Dan Morgan didn't want any of this. I'm just saying I've heard rumors. Whether it's true or not, it is what it is. 6.5, 7. Okay, not bad. Tepper dollar store fit. Yo, losers. Shut up, toxic. Get out of here, man. Maybe a 7. Did we expect anything less? -0? Oh, come on, Jadarius. I wish I had 2 more hands so I could give this GM hire 4 thumbs. 4 thumbs down. That's funny. I am a teacher. I can't even find a way to solve this dilemma. That's so funny. That is hilarious. Clay, you got some balls with that South Carolina jacket. Dude, you should see the sets of cards that I have underneath this I'm sitting on right now. You should see the set of cards I got. I heard there is an article saying that Dan Morgan went against Fitter a lot. That's what I'm saying. There is an article out there, guys. Y'all are going to go find it. I have it. I'm going to make y'all search for it. But go search it. Dan Morgan did not want anything to do with any of the picks that went on. He didn't say draft that future 6'4" legend of the 5'9" with no arm or mobility. He had no say, Matt Chatter. When you're an assistant GM and you have your owner, that head coach, and that GM picking all these guys, even though we know that Frank Wright didn't want anything to do with Bryce Young, this guy had nothing. He couldn't say anything. But now he has a lot to say. And I think he might even know how to handle David Tepper now. Because David Tepper ain't going to step up to him. I can tell you that right now. I guarantee you Dan Morgan would throw that man through a wall. There was a photo that got sent somewhere in Morgan's face when he drafted DJ Johnson. He looked pissed. Exactly. I'm telling you guys right now. I'm telling you guys right now in the chat. I'm telling you. I'm telling you right now. There's more than meets the eye here. There's more than meets the eye. There's more than meets the eye. I don't know how much I believe that, Clay. They were too close for comfort. I mean, you can still be friends at the end of the day, but you don't have to agree with anything. Y'all come to my show. Y'all don't agree with everything I say. You know what I mean? It's like you work with. It's the same thing in a professional world. You work with people that make decisions that you might not agree with. You might not agree with, but sometimes even in the professional world, it's about how you go about things and how you say things, right? So like you can't Dan Morgan probably wasn't like, well, that's fucking dumb and you can't do that. Don't pick that guy, whatever. It's like he probably did not have a say. Number one. Number two, I'm gonna find this article. Y'all are pissing me off. Y'all are pissing me off now. Watch this. I'm gonna show you. Might be on The Athletic, actually. Was it by Bleacher Report? Let's see. Oh God. Y'all chill out in the chat, man. Y'all going too crazy. Y'all going crazy. So what is he doing? Shake my head. Well, he's the new GM now. I'm not searching for shit. I can't find it though. I know it's out there. I can't remember who put it up. Might as well hire Clay to be a GM. You're more qualified, most likely. I mean, listen, I've been evaluating talent ever since I started this podcast. Ever since I was Pantherology, I've been evaluating talent. I've been watching game film. I've been doing draft boards. Like, so I can evaluate some talent. I'm good with finances in like the real world, but when it comes to if I had to deal with cap space, I ain't your guy. I ain't your guy. We're gonna have to get an accountant or something. I'll just hire. I'll hire. Clay. You voted Biden, Clay. I do live in South Carolina. You know that, right? I think that should say you're a Republican without saying you're a Republican. I live in South Carolina. So to your question, Matt Chatter, no, I did not vote for Biden. Absolutely not. I want to see this article. I've never seen it. I got to find it, Panther Raider X. I got to find it. I got to find that article. I love how everything. I love how everything 20 times more. Now I'm pissed. Okay. All right. So first things first. All right. I'll have to guys join the Discord. Okay. So first things first. Join the Discord because who is calling? Pause. Hello. What's up? Yes. She was with UAB, and then now she says she works for that international health. But then they were saying I didn't know that if it was I didn't know if it was your lead or not. Yeah. I know. I know. Well, I had a meeting scheduled with her actually. I know. And I had no idea. It's okay. Go ahead. It's fine. Nothing. They just wanted some quote. She just wants some quotes, and she probably because she was using it at UAB before she moved to that company. So she wants to get back on. She wants to get back on it. She said she was using. I think she was using. She mentioned like Gold FFX and I think tagging with it, if I'm not mistaken. So it'd be a good deal. Yeah, I'll forward you all the emails I've had between her. That's all right. Yeah, that's all right. All the emails should be in that task too. That's all right. No, you're good. I'll just forward you last. I actually emailed her today because I think. Yeah, I'll just let her know that you'll be in contact with her. Yeah, that's fine. All right, I'll do that now. Yeah, no problem. All right. Yeah, no problem. All right. All right, Tom. I'll talk to you later. No, you're fine. No worries. Yeah, no problem. I'll forward it to you. I'll forward it to you here shortly. I'm working on a price and proposal real quick. So we'll do. Yeah, I'll do that now. She hasn't no, because that's what we were gonna have a meeting about. No, I'll go ahead and get that settled up. Okay, well that's fine. I'll get it handled. Yeah. Okay. 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 All right, no problem. I don't know. I don't know. All right. I know. Okay. Yeah, no problem. It's no big deal. I promise you. I'm not gonna make a big deal out of it. So. Oh yeah, you're fine. No worries. No worries. Yeah. Well, fuck that guy. Yeah, I know. I talked to Gusty about it. I talked to Gusty about it. Yeah. Yeah, I talked to Gussie about it. Me and her had a long conversation about it, so yeah. I I yeah, well, the guy says he's gonna close $1 million deal, but he can't even send a normal email, so, I mean, how the hell are you gonna close $1 million deal?
I'm trying to do, and it's really a disgrace, and he needed to be called out. And I saw he was pretty sheepish in the meeting today, but again, I just wanted to give you a little background that.
He tried to create a leadership group on Skype, and he only added, like, 4 people to it. And, like, Gusty was like, yeah, so, it's it is what it is. Listen, at the end of the day, Tom, we don't need to worry about it. All we need to do is worry about ourselves. We can work as a team, and if he wants to be the outcast, let him be the outcast. And then at the end of the day, we'll do what we need to do. Well, I mean, he just won't last. And nobody's been even close to closing $1 million deal. And I don't think that will. That no offense with this company, I don't think we'll ever have $1 million deal. We might have something close to 500,000, something like that. I could see, but not $1 million. I just think but it also I think probably depends on the company. But again, at the same time, it's he's out of his mind if he thinks he's closing $1 million deal. He doesn't even know how to run the platform, Tom. He doesn't even know how to run the platform. He doesn't even know he doesn't even know how to send a proper email to a client. And he calls me every day for help. Yes, at least once a day. I wouldn't. I wouldn't. No, it's his own fault. He's just making it harder on himself. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I've demoed it before, so yeah, I've demoed it a couple times, and I've demoed it in front of the COE team. Um, so I have a little bit of a little I have the basics of it. Like I don't have like the full advanced knowledge of it yet, but enough to give a demo to a client to where if they wanted to see how it works, basically. Yeah. Right. Mhm. Well, hey, Tom, let me run here. I got another call coming in, it looks like, and I think it's a client. All right, no problem. I'll talk to you later. Bye. Sorry about that, guys. Duty calls sometimes in between. Sometimes they call in between here. Sometimes they call in between the show. And I apologize to you guys. I apologize for y'all that you had to sit there and listen to me yapper to a coworker of mine. So I apologize for that. But guess what? We're back. We're back. Sorry about that. I promise I will get to y'all's comments. And I don't even know where to start. Who's the other client and what's the pricing proposal about? Panther Raider X. So my full-time job, I'm a software engineer, but I also wear multiple hats for the company I work for. I'm a product specialist. I'm also a business development manager, and I'm also a marketing manager. So, sometimes we have some internal issues that I have to deal with. Cut the wink link. We always do. I always cut them out. But that's basically what I do for a software company. They're based out of Australia, but they have a U.S. headquarters here in Nashville. So that's all I'm going to say that I do. So I wear multiple hats. I do a lot of things. But anyways, all right. So back to Dan Morgan. I apologize, guys. Back to Dan Morgan. Okay, first things first. This is one thing I need to make sure that we understand about one thing about Mr. Dan Morgan is that the Carolina Panthers basically threw all their chips on the table for this guy. They rolled the dice. That's what they did. This is their first offseason move that they've done. They actually, but they did, the positive thing that they did here is what I'm going to say is that they did it the right way. They went with the GM first. So now guess what? If this sportsology firm is as who I think they are, okay, they're going to let Dan Morgan pick the coach. Well, guess who is acquainted with Dan Morgan? Dave Canales. We're going to talk about him later, okay? But now he's the assistant GM, general manager, he went from assistant GM to general manager and president of football operations. So they promoted within. It's not the sexiest headline. I understand that. But it's a calculated move. The players love him. He knows ball. He knows talent when he sees it. There's an article out there that says that he didn't agree with any of the picks that they went with when he got here. Okay. And honestly, I didn't even think Dan Morgan was even going to get this job, much less even be this close to it. I didn't even think his name was even going to be mentioned. Okay. But the players love him. Okay. Greg Olsen went on Pat McAfee's show today and said it was a great hire. Greg Olsen said it was a great hire. He thinks that Dan Morgan deserves it, and he says that he even said on Pat McAfee's show, Greg Olsen did say that he knows ball and he knows talent, and he can evaluate talent as the best of them. Greg Olsen said that on Pat McAfee. I'm just letting you know what he said. Okay, but the Panthers didn't just pluck Dan Morgan out of thin air. Okay, they didn't just pluck Dan Morgan out of thin air. He's been in the shadows getting groomed for this moment. It's like the NFL version of covert operation, right? Okay. Morgan is the man of the hour. Okay. We all know his journey. Okay. His journey from playing field to front office is the stuff of legends, right? Seattle, Buffalo, now Carolina. He's been on the tour of the NFL wisdom, soaking up knowledge like a sponge, right? Serving as a scout intern. Then he was an assistant director of player personnel, then a director of player personnel. That is his resume masterclass, and he's climbed up the NFL ranks. Okay. We also know that he was a hell of a player, so he knows what it takes to win. He's been to a Super Bowl. He was one of the best linebackers to come out of the Miami Hurricanes down there in Miami. So, sure, it might not be the flashiest hire, guys. And I know some of you guys and fans were probably hoping for someone else. And honestly, I didn't even have him on my list, and he wasn't somebody I wanted either. Okay, I'll be honest. But I was 50-50 on it, and I thought about it. All right, I let it soak in. But let's not forget that Morgan, I think, has been destined for this opportunity a little bit. Okay. If not in Carolina, he probably would have been snatched up elsewhere to lead the charge. And don't even think about dismissing him just because he served under Scott Fitterer. I mean, remember Brandon Beane? Y'all remember Brandon Beane, right? The Panthers let him go. Now he's steering the ship in Buffalo. And I think it's worked out pretty well for them, didn't it? They've made the playoffs. The only reason why they continue to lose is because Sean McDermott sucks. He should be fired for that fake punt with Damar Hamlin. Just for that play alone. Okay, so that's what I'm getting at, though, Mad Chatter. He is a guy that can draft good, though. I think I really do have some confidence here. Okay? So, Panther fans, you guys need to digest this news a little bit. And then think about this question, okay? What about the head coaching search, though? Because that's going to be the bigger ordeal. That, to me, that is going to be the bigger ordeal. Okay? I've seen tweets out there about that have been dropping some knowledge about some things. Bucks offensive coordinator Dave Canales and Cowboys defensive coordinator Dan Quinn have history with Morgan. Coincidence? I think not. The NFL is like a high school reunion. It is. That's how these things somehow pan out. And Morgan just might be pulling out his own playbook, and maybe he's able to do this. But let's not kid ourselves. Everybody, don't kid yourselves. Seriously. Morgan was already in the head coaching interview game. He was all up in there. He was all up in there like swimwear. All right? This title switch, though, probably just a formality because the Panthers are making moves and Morgan's at the helm. So us Panther fans, y'all give me your thoughts. Dan Morgan's steering this ride now. It's not just a promotion. It's a declaration that the Panthers are ready to roll and they've got their new man in charge. I'm just saying, it won't surprise me, guys, if that, with the ties that Dan Morgan has between Dave Canales and Dan Quinn, I won't be surprised if Jair Evero finds a head coaching job elsewhere. They hire Dave Canales as the head coach, and they possibly swing Dan Quinn over as a DC. I could see something like that panning out. Or they hire Evero as the head coach, and they get Canales as the OC. There's multiple ways that they could go with this, but I could see it. Mad Chatter says Morgan and Morgan. Come on. All right. But here's the thing that we also have to talk about here, because the Tepper Tango is real, man. The Tepper Tango is so real. It's unbelievable, because when you thought the Panthers had played their trump card with Dan Morgan promotion, David Tepper is signaling that this offseason chess game is far from over. Because Tepper may be ready to add another heavy hitter to this front office lineup. Now, I've heard that even though Dan Morgan is the GM and the football operations, they're going to try to bring another guy in that can help him out with the cap room. They're going to lean on Morgan more on the long side of scouting and bringing in the talent. Now, we all know that Morgan has moved up. That doesn't mean that Tepper's slamming the brakes on this front office, though, guys. I'm telling you right now. Tepper's trying to eye a dynamic duo. They're going to pair Morgan with a numbers guy. I'm telling you right now. That's why they fired what's his name. Because who needs one powerhouse when you can have a tag team of football powers and financial wizardry? That's what they're going to do here. That's what this sportsology firm is putting together. There's a method to that madness. Tepper's vision is nothing short of ambitious. Rumor has it that back in 2021, before settling on Scott Fitter, Tepper had entertained the idea of splitting the GM position into two roles, a CFO of football and a COO of football. So that's right. One's a financial mastermind. The other one is an operation wizarder. All right. Because why settle for convention when you can rewrite that whole playbook? Does that make sense? Sad off in the chat says makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, say it doesn't make sense. Okay. Time for a little Zenobon. A little lower decky shuffle. But with Morgan steering the ship as a primary football executive, the secondary football executive position is just up for grabs. Now, there are some insiders out there. Guys, going to be honest with you. There are some whispering names going around, like Brant Tillis, the Kansas City Chiefs vice president of football operations. The man is no stranger to the Panthers' radar. All right. Having been one of the 8 GM candidates officially interviewed. Now, reports suggest he faced the organization on January 15th. So it left us wondering if Tillis is the financial sorcerer that Tepper has in mind. No, Joe Parsons of The Athletic and the Albert Berry of the Sports Illustrated are in on the speculation throwing Tillis' name into the ring. The plot thickens, though, now, guys, because as Tepper, who's this mastermind owner, apparently, orchestrates his front office like a symphony. But wait, there's more. Because Jones spills the beans that Alec Hallaby of the Philadelphia Eagles and Brandon Brown of the New York Giants were the finalists for this job. It's like a reality show here, guys. Welcome to the Carolina Panthers reality show. Tepper's that executive producer who brings you all that drama, suspense, unexpected twist of this whole Panthers front office saga. Tepper's not just playing chess. He's orchestrating a front office blitz. We're going to round 2 now. It's about to commence. It's not just about football. It's about making a strategic move. And I think Tepper's pulling out all the stops. I think he's finally realizing the bullshit that he's done here. This offseason drama is just getting started, though, guys. This offseason drama is just getting started. All right. It's just getting started. But here's another thing with this whole Tepper Tango thing, with this head coaching search, because it's like deja vu drama all over again, though, if we think about it, guys. All right. The offseason promise changed because as the dust settles, it appears to be the same old song that Tepper is writing here. Tepper is this guy. He is the director of the orchestra. He's trying to make this symphony, right? All right. He hires a consultants firm. Okay. So he hires these professional musicians. Okay. Maybe Beyonce. I don't know. But raising hopes of a fresh approach. But if you reevaluate this whole situation, the familiarity figures like Dan Morgan are deeply entrenched in the head coaching interviews as fans. We're experiencing deja vu drama all over again. Now, the question is, will history repeat itself? Or is this a new act with different ending? Now, are you willing to give David Tepper a trust fall, guys? You willing to give David Tepper let David Tepper catch you with his arms? You willing to let that Carolina Panthers fans, you ready to let him do the trust fall? Because Tepper's affinity for familiar faces seems unyielding. Now, despite a shaky track record, a woeful 2-win season in 2023, I think this owner appears set on keeping some of the same players on this chessboard. The inclusion of Morgan, Adrian Wilson, and Cole Spencer in the interview process raises eyebrows. Is Tepper merely executing a trust fall with those who have enabled his previous decisions, or is there a method to his madness? Because the narrative of this whole tale is desire for control. Surrounding himself with familiar figures who've tread the same path before. It's a pattern again, guys, that I feel like a little bit, though. That's why I'm 50-50 on this. It feels like a pattern that echoes through Panthers history. From Marty Hurney to Matt Rule. To me, the script seems a little bit unchanged. Now, will that Tepper's quest from control yield different results, or is it a chapter of the same story told with a whole new cast? I should be a lawyer? I've been told I should have been a lawyer a long time ago because I love to argue. I will pass on Dan Quinn. Hire Canales already. I feel that. Am I the only one who heard that? What'd you hear? He brought the Beyonce to Charlotte. Whoop-de do though, right? Who cares? Nobody cares about what concerts you're bringing in, David Tepper. Let's just remember that. But the intent, but we're all left grappling with this insanity of repetition. The definition of the same thing over and over again and expecting different results resonates loudly here. Tepper had an opportunity to clean house, reset the franchise, but signs point that he made this internal promotion. It's a little bit of a sense of deja vu for me. Now, do we think that Tepper's decision-making rewrite the franchise narrative, or are us fans stuck in this endless loop of disappointment? That's a question we got to talk about. Because here's the thing with this whole head coaching search. Bryce Young, I guess you could call him the big fish if you want to. You can call him a prodigy if you want to. Some people don't believe that. But the saga begins with this whole enigma that is Bryce Young. This is where it's all starting. The quarterback, a source of decisive opinions among fans. All y'all are in here. Some of y'all are about him. Sound off in the comments. Give me a 1 if you're about Bryce. Give me a 2 if you're not. But despite a terrible rookie season, 62 sacks on the year, sacked 62 times. He's the number 1 overall pick in last year's draft. The question looms, is a coaching blue chip quarterback prospect a significant draw, or does the uncertainty surrounding Young act as a red flag? 3 undecided. Brad, I'm glad you put that, because I'm the same way. I'm 3. I'm undecided. But is it a blank canvas or a burden? Because Young's potential becomes the canvas upon a new coach, right? Can he paint a masterpiece? The opportunity to develop a talent of his caliber compared to top prospects in the upcoming draft presents a unique challenge. From the off-schedule playmaking to the pocket manipulation, Young's rookie season showcased glimpses of brilliance. Is he a blank canvas awaiting transformation, or is it a burden that comes with the challenges? The coaching network is vast, and the canvas is open for interpretation. But Tepper's this billionaire mastermind, right? Known for his impatience and hands-on approach. Tepper's persona sparks debates. Is he a deterrent with a penchant of meddling? Or does he draw with an open checkbook? Tepper's willingness to spend is evident. Full by desire for affirmation, he creates a unique allure for coaching candidates. Now the question arises, can he draw up the financial backing outweigh the challenges an owner deeply involved in day-to-day affairs. Tepper's reputation, impatient owner, clashes with the extending contracts he's offered in the past. He's made impulsive decisions and some strategic moves that definitely makes you scratch your head. While Tepper's involvement might not be viewed as a hurdle, but the financial backing and affinity for analytics based front office personnel create an intriguing dynamic, in my opinion. Is Tepper's impatience a deterrent, or does it commit to success, making him a captivating figure in the coaching landscape? Marco's put that over to the power. I love it. I think David Tepper's tango could deter the right coaching candidate. But again, this sportsology firm and now Dan Morgan, are they going to be able to persuade this man? I love y'all guys. Y'all are killing it in the chat. Y'all are awesome. Now, it won't work, Brad. It won't work. But again, I think the Dan Morgan hires, there's more than meets the eye. I think Dan Morgan is going to be the guy that handles because again, I'm going to find that article and I'm going to show y'all. Make sure you join the Discord because I'm going to have to put it in there. I don't have time to search for it now, but I will find it today. About how he did not want those draft picks. Mad Chatter, is Rattler better than to your question, is Rattler better than Bryce? I don't know. I like Rattler. I think he did a solid job here in South Carolina, but do I think he's better? I don't know. I can't say that. I think it's a who knows kind of ordeal. I feel you. You should be like Dr. Evil, Jadarius. Sharks with like tractor beams on their heads, after him. He's coming out this year, Big Jordan. He'll probably be like a 3rd round pick, 4th round pick, maybe even a 5th. I could see him moving back to the 5th round. Rattler isn't better than Corral. I think that's a debate we can have. I think Rattler definitely could be a debate we can have. I think he's better than Corral. The fact that Dan has been here and doesn't seem bothered by Tepper is a good sign. Yeah, it is a good sign. So here are my takeaways about Dan Morgan's hire, though. He's on board with Bryce. Dan Morgan isn't just a talent evaluator. He's a quarterback whisperer. With his rise from linebacker to director of pro and personnel and player personnel, Morgan I feel like has earned his stripes in success in front office like Seattle and Buffalo. But what sets him apart in the Panthers present and the future is his undying support for Bryce Young. Now, when your owner, David Tepper, has bet the farm on this 22-year-old kid, you better believe Morgan is all in. The decision made those monumental moments hint at a favorable outlook and a promising vision for Young. And then in Charlotte, if you're not on board with Bryce, you're going to miss that bus. I'm sorry. I think you have to believe in this kid because we're stuck with him. So that has to go out the room. I mean, I don't see any other way around it. Now, the power duo, question mark. The Panthers didn't just hand Morgan a shiny title. They hinted a power duo in the making. Yes, he's going to be the president of football operations. He's going to be the general manager, but it's not just a role. It's a saga. But what's really intriguing lies in the personnel of operations part, because Morgan is expected to lead the charge on personnel, and his yet to be named assistant general manager might have a more focused role. So that enters the rumor that we were just talking about, auditioning a guy who can help with the salary cap and the analytics part. The favorite in that apparently right now is Brant Tillis out of there of KC. So I think we got to get ready for another key addition to the Panthers front office as they continue their aggressive restructure here. The first big decision, though, is the clock is ticking. The first big decision for Morgan's Panthers is a new head coach. They've got second interviews with Evero. They got a second interview with Raheem Morris, and they got a second interview with Dave Canales. Okay? You might as well go ahead and scratch off Callahan off that list. Brian Callahan, he's heading to the Tennessee Titans. So now that plot thickens a little bit more, guys. Morgan has connections with two contenders, Evero and Canales. Will the Panthers stay in-house and evaluate Evero, the defensive-minded guy, to the head coaching throne? Or will they go Canales, the offensive-minded ties to Morgan from their NFL beginnings in Seattle? The realm that's going off in Mint Street right now, guys, the Panthers are just not just making moves. They're trying to make a power play. Morgan's at the helm, and they're playing chess, not checkers this time. I have a feeling they're not. This is more than just football. It's about making the strategic moves to create good football on the field. They're playing their cards aggressively. They're all in. And I think there's more to come to this. I really do. I really do. Look up the definition of insanity. Is this thing on? How do you get a historically bad as offensive line? Average starting running back. No all-10 test. No. Yeah, they create a room by firing. Yeah, good. He needed to go anyways. Netflix brought rights to WWE on Raw. I saw that. Is this thing? I need an offensive-minded head coach. I want David Canales, and I'm going to give you my take on him today. I do like they're splitting up the GM position into two. Yeah, so one can evaluate talent, the other can evaluate the cap and the analytics side of things. And Dan Morgan will definitely be the guy who's evaluating talent. And I think he does know what he's doing. Because Greg Olson even said it. And I kind of believe Greg Olson. I understand that. Again, it's not the most sexiest hire, but I think it would be a good one. I feel that, Matt Chatter. I'm waiting for the notification to drop. Me too. So here's my to-do list for Mr. Morgan, though. First things first, you must hire that right head coach. You got to hire the right head coach. That is your first mission, to influence this next head coaching hires. Now, we all know about all the interviews. There's a thick amount of interviews, and it's crunch time now. They've got second interviews. We already know that on the horizon. Morgan has to pound the table to get that preferred candidate. Establish that early authority in this Panthers front office. Another thing is assessing this roster. We have to talk about this roster. You come off a disastrous season. This roster needs a serious makeover. Morgan's complicity in past roster building failures now holds the reins with almost every position group in need of upgrades. Morgan's plan for progress must go beyond promises. Actions speak louder than words, right? And as us got people in this chat and myself being loyal to this team, we demand results, not rhetoric. Sound off in the comments. Who do you want to hire? Who do you want them to hire? Based off these recent interviews and the second two, or with the people with the two interviews, right? Second interviews, Canales, Evero. You got Raheem Morris. Who do you want as your next head coach? Also, sound off in the comments. Give me a list of 5 guys that you believe should stay here. Now, another thing is maximizing the assets that you do have. Okay? We're dealing with some financial assets in the absence of a first-round pick in 2024. So Morgan must work his magic to maximize every possible resource. Now, with that power duo that I was talking about, we only have around $28.5 million salary cap space. So sacrifices and some smart contract maneuvers have to be done. Because right now, the hand that we are dealt is not really ideal. I think Morgan is a respected talent evaluator, but he must play it efficiently to set the stage for success. Now, guys, we can expect this offseason to just for this offseason to just all of a sudden turn heads. Okay? We're not going to just turn heads in the first year under a new GM and a new head coach. I guess I should say under 2 new GMs and a head coach and a coaching staff. We're not going to just turn heads in the first year. So go ahead and get that out the way. We're not going to be a playoff contender in 2024. But you have to maximize what you got. And whoever the analytics guy is going to have to be able to maneuver that cap space and make some smart contract maneuvers. But you got to extend key figures because we've mismanaged a lot of contracts. And there's a lot of departures, I think, lingering from the previous regime. We've already are starting to see it even in the front office. There's a lot of stains here left behind, guys, especially in the case of Brian Burns. The edge rusher is a cornerstone for the Panthers. And I think there needs to be a deserving extension here. Frankie Louvu's stellar performance demands attention too. So Morgan's going to have to navigate the complex landscape of the contract negotiations to ensure key players remain in Carolina. The next thing is you got to build around Bryce. The investment you made for this kid demands a strategic plan. Morgan's promotion suggests a commitment to staff who believe in Young's potential. The Panthers must go all in to provide Young with the support he needs. No more costing cutting. No more turning corners. No more half-ass bullshit. Because you made a significant investment, and that's you got to make a significant investment in skill positions and the offensive line. That is just imperative. That is number one. That's a lot of tough choices to make, but Morgan has to navigate the critical phase to ensure that this massive gamble we took in that 2023 NFL draft pays off. Josh, who do you think the next head coach is then? Maybe 5 guys is a lot to ask for. I don't think Johnson's coming here. I think Yahoo Sports posted up something today that he will not be interviewing here again or at all. I think Canales is a lock. Yeah, Eagles fired Brian Johnson, but he won't be interviewing here either. They already canceled him off too. So here is what I'm getting at. I think that Dave Canales is the coaching maverick that we're looking for. Here is my take. Yeah, the Hornets traded away Terry Rozier to the Miami Heat. Mad chatter. The Hornets made a trade to the Miami Heat. They traded away Terry Rozier for Kyle Lowry and a first-round pick in the 2027 draft. But here's my take on Dave Canales. I think he's the guy that we have to go after for because Dave Canales has left the building. The eyes of Tampa Bay are now fixed on this coaching, on this coach. And hopefully he's ready to take the reins in here at Carolina. Canales is not just a coaching prospect. He's a wrecking ball of offensive brilliance. And I think he's primed to shake things up if he comes here. This guy's had a coaching journey that might not be as extensive as some, but hey, who needs a lengthy resume when you can turn Geno Smith into a quarterback? Look what he's done with look what he's done. In 2022, Smith was thrown into the Seahawks starting role with expectations lower than a mole's burrow. The plan? Survive with a veteran quarterback, gear up for the next shining quarterback in the draft. Enter Canales. Geno Smith didn't just survive. He set the league on fire. He had career highs, comeback player of the year, a playoff appearance under Canales. The man formulated an offense that turned DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett into gridiron gods. All while awakening Smith's dominant talent. But move over, guys. I think anybody who doubts this guy, he's just getting started, because if you fast forward now, Tampa Bay in 2023, the coordinator position looked like damaged goods, but with Tom Brady retired, coaches were eyeing a season with either unproven Kyle Trask or the football Lazarus Baker Mayfield. Canales stepped up, and look what he did with Baker Mayfield. What followed was nothing short of magic. Mayfield was basically left for dead in some football purgatory after he left us, if you think about it. Went from us, went to LA, now he's with the Bucs. And then this year, he ascended to the realm of a top 5 NFC quarterbacks. Whatever sorcery this man has done, he's turned offensive lines too into a showcase of brilliance. Tampa Bay might have elite receivers, but Canales had the ability to craft an offense that was nothing short of genius there. They didn't get that far without him. But let's talk about that current predicament right now. Enter Canales, the man who turned water into wine, between Geno Smith and Baker Mayfield. And in football terms, I think he could transform Bryce Young from a rookie disappointment into a gridiron sensation. Canales, with the offensive wizardry that he has done, is the coaching trust fall you've been waiting for. It's not just about the X's and O's. Canales spent quality time under Pete Carroll. And he knows the consistency that it took in Seattle. But here in Charlotte, on the other hand, has been more like a roller coaster through chaos. I think if you combine Canales' play calling and his coaching strategy with the leadership that he learned from Pete Carroll, you might just found your next head coach. I think Dave Canales is a guy that we definitely need to be hammering, especially if we're not going to get any of these other guys. Matt Chatter to that. I think that you still need to be able to have a defense though in this league. You can't just get rid of everyone. I think that in that situation, yeah, Burns, you probably want to trade him because of the financial issues that we have with the cap space. So you're not going to be able to afford him. So you're going to have to probably tag him and trade him, as much as I would love to keep him here. But you also got to think about your Pro Bowl defensive tackle you're going to have to extend sooner rather than later. And I think you're also going to have to look at Luvu, a guy that has really came around here. So to that, I would say that yes, there are certain guys on defense that you could definitely trade for picks, right? I think Dante Jackson, you could trade for picks. I think also Brian Burns, you could trade for picks. But other than that, on the defensive side, I don't know who else you would trade. Maybe Von Bell, and you keep Jeremy Chin, and you move Jeremy Chin back to that safety position. So to your response to that, I mean, yeah, you need to get Bryce a wide receiver. You need to get him a running back and a tight end. I think we also need to get back to the power running days. I think Chuba's good enough to be that elusive back that we need. I don't think Miles Sanders is going to be any good, even though he says he's pissed off and he's going to wants to have a resurgence of a career. I doubt that. I don't believe in it. Prove me wrong, though. Prove me wrong. But I think you're going to have a two-headed monster back there to help out. We need to get back to, you have to bring in a scheme that also fits these players and fits this team. The question is also, though, to your response, though, to Mad Chatter is, do you think that you move Icky to left tackle or left guard? I'm sorry. Do you move Icky to left guard? You know, I just don't know. I just don't know. I think that's a risky move. When it comes down to moving the Icky to left tackle, we've talked about it before. It's a strategic move, but it's a risky move. And if they don't do that, then in the draft, you have to go wide receiver and offensive line. And if you don't tag and trade Burns and you don't get a first round pick for him, was it worth the trade? I think you could get a second, a third, and a fourth for him. But you're going to have to go center, left guard, or left tackle. And you're going to have to go right guard because Corbett's done. Christensen, I think, can come back and be fine. It was a bicep tear. Wasn't a shoulder issue. A bicep tear, those things can come back and heal a lot easier than what an MCL and an ACL. I mean, he tore Corbett's going to be, the right guard position is going to be huge to replace because he tore his ACL and then he tore his MCL at the end of the year in the same knee. So Corbett's career could be over. Corbett's career could be over. But I think Dave Canales could be the guy. The highest rated guy on our offensive line, I think, was Taylor Moton. And he had like a 70 something. I mean, I can look it up for you real quick. I think the highest grading offensive line we had was if I'm not mistaken, guys, I'm pretty sure it was Moten. Yeah, Moten had a 74.6 overall. Then the next one was Icky. They gave Icky a 67.4. And then after that, Bozeman was a 62.2. So JC Horn finished out the year at an 84.1. Louisville finished out the year at a 78.5. And Xavier Woods finished out the year at an 80.3. So those are your top guys, at least from the PFF's grading standpoint. No, it's not going to happen overnight. None of these moves, like I said, guys, no matter who we get as the next GM, next head coach, what draft picks we make and what free agency moves we make, do not expect that the rebuild that we're doing this year is going to be complete that put us in a playoff contention. Just be ready for a season where we maybe win more than 2 games. That's about it. We might be back to 5-12 next year. Brad is making some good points. And I've been saying that for a long time. There definitely needs to be change. The scheme does not fit these guys. Tepper still wants Ben Johnson, but may have to settle for Canales or Ever. On Rock, you might be right. We'll see, because the Lions are one win away from going to the Super Bowl. So we shall see. Let's finish it off with this. Let's finish the show off with this. Did Carolina lose its mind? The Christian McCaffrey trade debacle. I think that one of the biggest things for me, and I might need a therapist for this one, was because of the Christian McCaffrey trade to the San Francisco 49ers. Like a move straight out of a comedy or a tragedy, depending on your perspective. Let's take a stroll down in the Hall of Shame in the NFL trade history. The Colts once thought it was a brilliant idea to swap a first-round pick for the illustrations of Trent Richardson. The Rams sent Jerome Bettis packing to the Pittsburgh Steelers for draft picks. Who could forget about the Herschel Walker deal? 5 players, 8 draft picks. It was like a football garage sale that went wrong. But hold your horses, because the Carolina Panthers just entered this chat. They handed over McCaffrey not 1, not 2, but a 2023 second, third, and fourth pick, along with a 2024 fifth round pick. If that doesn't make you cringe, to me, I don't know what will. So let's dissect the aftermath of this. They used their third and fourth round picks. So listen to this. They used their third and fourth round picks to sweeten the pot for DJ Johnson. The pass rush sensation, who made whopping 16 tackles in 13 games. Impressive, right? At the age of 25, he's practically a football elder. And we're supposed to believe he'll suddenly become a game changer in year 2. What a skeptical. And then there's Jonathan Mingo, the wide receiver gem they got with the second round pick. Sure, he showed some sparks. 43 receptions, 418 yards, but never reached the end zone. That's apparently too much to ask for. It might be too early to write off Johnson and Mingo, but the optics of this trade are screaming, what were they thinking? Trading away the possibility, the most dynamic football player in NFL history for this duo is beyond laughable. Not a single first-round pick in return for a guy who, with 1,000 yards rushing, 1,000-yard receiving season. You got to be kidding me. This is something I still think about. That's why I brought it up today. Because Scott Fitter's mastermind behind this questionable decision is no longer the general manager of Carolina, thank God. Can we really be surprised, though? If Johnson and Mingo don't suddenly transform into football prodigies, this trade will join the ranks of the NFL trade disasters we laughed for about years. Same thing with the trade for trading up for Bryce Young. You trade away DJ Moore and all those picks to go get Bryce Young. If he doesn't pan out, guess what happens? It becomes one of the worst trades in NFL history. Carolina, you've outdone yourself. And in the grand scheme of bad decisions, this one might just take the cake and then drop it. It's one of the worst trades ever. And so if Bryce Young doesn't pan out, it could be one of the worst trades ever as well. Just so you know that. Guys, make sure you pound the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thank you for joining today's show. I really appreciate y'all showing your love and support as always. I tell you, we had a lot to talk about today. We had a lot to talk about. We had a lot to talk about. Glitches, what's up? Appreciate you joining. So I'm going to leave the chat open for you guys. Let me know your thoughts. Hit me with some questions. Hit me with your best shot. I'm still trying to find this. Yes, they do, Brad. I've been saying that for the longest time. I've been saying that for the longest time. It's trying to find an offensive identity. For years, we've been trying to do that. It all depends, though. But it's been years since the last time this team's had an offensive identity. The next few years will be very telling, man. Either I'll be right or horribly wrong. Hopefully, the later. I feel that. I think that Dan Morgan was a good hire. At the end of the day, I think Dan Morgan was a good hire as the GM. I think he's going to be a good guy who can scout talent, evaluate talent. It can evaluate this roster and knows who the guys are and who aren't the guys. I think he'll know what to do when it comes to the draft boards and the free agency of who the guys are and who the guys aren't. I think that whoever they bring in as that personnel guy to kind of be like you said, you got the CEO who is Dan Morgan. Then you're going to have the COO who's going to be the analytics and the money financial guy is going to come in. And especially if they get the Brant Tillis out of Kansas City, I think that you put those two together, you've got a great dynamic duo in that front office. I think that's one of the best ways to go about it right now within the situation that we're in. Having two heads is better than one, in my opinion. Number two, I think Dave Canales is the guy that you want here as the next head coach because he's a guy that has transformed guys' careers back to relevancy. Geno Smith, Baker Mayfield, perfect examples. So, again, it does then come down to who will be the DC if Evero decides to move on, if he doesn't get the head coaching job. Dan Quinn is a guy's name that's been thrown around because Dan Morgan has ties with him in Seattle. I wouldn't be mad about it because look at what Dan Quinn has done in Dallas. Now, their team was short-sighted, but that was not because of the defense. It was because if you go watch the offense is ass. I think Mike McCarthy's not that good of a coach. I think Dak Prescott's not good of a quarterback. Cam Newton has called it like he said it in on his podcast that these guys are game managers. They're not game changers. And we'll find out if Brock Purdy is a game manager or a game changer, if he can get this team if he can get San Francisco to the Super Bowl. But that is just my take on things. But you have to be able to evaluate talent, bring the talent in here, and you're going to have to maneuver the cap space to be able to bring in the right guys. You're also going to have to make sure that the head coach that you're bringing in can scheme up the right scheme to fit the talent of this team that they are going to put together. Where is Vrabel still has best shot at being Panthers head coach? Has he even interviewed? I don't think so, Marcos. I don't even think Vrabel has had an interview. I don't even know if he's had an interview with any team. I don't even know if he's had an interview with any team. Marcos. I think the best fit for him was New England, but they went with Mayo. I don't know where else, he would go at this point. I mean, Atlanta seems very high on Harbaugh and Belichick. I think the Chargers really want Ben Johnson or they want Harbaugh. I've heard that they've already thrown him a bag. I've heard the Chargers have already thrown Jim Harbaugh a bag. Yes, he was. So Marcos, he knows what he's doing. And I think a guy that's also been underneath a Pete Carroll is very intriguing because look at what Pete Carroll has done there in Seattle. That's his time as a head coach. Won a Super Bowl, multiple playoff appearances. I think it's a good fit. Okay. Well, Matt Chatter, I don't know what to say to that. I really don't. But I won't respond. It's cold out there, so make sure you wear some warm clothes at least if you jump in. So that's just my take on everything. I appreciate everyone joining the live stream as always. Y'all coming in here, chatting it up. I really appreciate it. Make sure you pound the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Always leave a comment down below, even if you weren't in here. Love to hear y'all's thoughts as always. Love to see the chat blowing up like it did today. Make sure you join the Discord over here. The link tree is down below, so make sure you join the Discord. I'm going to try to find that article that was mentioned that we were talking about that mentioned that Dan Morgan wasn't in on every deal and wasn't pleasant and didn't agree with a lot of the deals and the free agent moves and the draft picks that they went with. So I'm going to try to find that because apparently it's out there. And I saw it today, but I can't remember who wrote it. So make sure you join the Discord because I'm going to try to find that today, post it in there. And I'll give you my thoughts on that as well. Also, check me out on all my social media up above me. I'm very active on all of those. My Instagram is more of my personal life, so I really don't post a lot of football content on there. But if it's something you want to follow, that's cool too. But also make sure you check out our sponsorship of every live stream and every video. BetUS, betus.com. The Super Bowl is right around the corner. You got the AFC and the NFC championship this week, so you don't want to miss out on those bets. I'm definitely going to be betting this week. Going to have some prop bets put together for myself, but I'll also be betting on the games. So make sure you check that out. If you sign up for free today, your initial deposit, you'll get 125% bonus on your initial deposit. So go check it out. All right. The link tree is down below with all of that, and it'll take you right to it. Hopefully Dan Morgan sat Tepper down and told him, I fucking told you so. He might have. That's a big motherfucker. That's a big dude. That's a big dude. So I don't think Tepper would step up to him. And that's just me. I think Dan Morgan's one of those. If he runs the front office like he played football, yeah, he's not going to be putting up with that shit. Because that man was a killer on the field. So. But anyways, guys, I'm going to hop off here. I appreciate everyone joining the live stream. Make sure you pound the like button and subscribe. That's all I ask. All right, guys. I'll be live tomorrow. Y'all know what to do as always. Keep pounding. Peace.